I'm Max Lopez. This is the Blue Wave. Democrats across the country, including some of the more progressive members of the Democratic House, are outraged at Chuck Schumer and other Senate Democrats for voting for a stopgap CR that is going to continue to allow for Donald Trump and Elon Musk to have their way when it comes to dismantling the federal government and cutting federal spending. Now, let's go and look at this article here from Axios. Breaks down a little bit of the details of what happened. It says 10 Senate Democrats cave to avert government shutdown. Senate Democrats joined with the Republican majority in voting to move forward with a stopgap spending bill Friday, clearing the path to avoid a government shutdown. Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is facing outrage from his party, including House leadership, over his decision to vote for the bill. Many Democrats wanted to force a shutdown to protest Trump and Elon Musk's sweeping federal spending cuts. The key procedural vote was 62 to 38, with Rand Paul being the only Republican who voted no. The Senate voted 54 to 46 a short time later to send the stopgap measure, to Trump for his signature ahead of a midnight deadline. Despite public outrage, especially from House progressives, Schumer delivered the needed votes, drawing support from moderates, members of his leadership team, and retiring Democrats. Democratic Senators Richard Durbin, Catherine Cortez Masto, John Fetterman, Kristen Gillibrand, Maggie Hassan, Gary Peters, Janine Sheehan, and Brian Schatz all voted yes in addition to Schumer, as did Maine's Angus King, an independent who caucuses with the Democrats. Okay, so AOC, as always, absolutely nailed the reason that this is a bad idea. On CNN, I believe it was last night or the night before, that AOC was on Jake Tapper's program on CNN. And what she said essentially was that the Republicans have control of all three branches of government. They control the House, they control the Senate, they control the White House. The American people know this. The American people are aware of that fact, that the Republicans have the trifecta of power. And the government, in the party that's in control of the government, in this case, the Republicans being voted in this last November, is responsible for keeping the government open. And if you don't have the votes because you did not gain a strong enough majority in November to overcome the filibuster, then you are now the party responsible for going across the aisle and picking up votes from the other side, not the other way around, right? And what we have here is a Democratic Party and Democratic leadership that is still, for some reason, petrified of being blamed by the right for things going wrong in this country. And it's like their strategy is completely adopted around that idea of, oh, well, we can't be blamed. We can't be blamed for this or that. So let's just go along with their plan and what they have planned, because otherwise the Democratic people out there are gonna blame the Democratic Party for the government shutdown when they already blame the Democrats for everything under the sun, no matter what. I mean, Trump is still continually blaming the Biden administration's handling of inflation, handling of the economy, for prices continuing to be stubbornly high on certain items, when he in fact promised prices would fall immediately after he was elected. So the Democrats, what they're doing here in voting with the Republicans is they're basically saying, they're basically giving up in being a a true peer opposition party, which I've talked about in previous videos. That is really the only direction that the Democratic Party needs to go in this day and age, is to become a opposition party and oppose literally everything that the Trump administration is attempting to do, and show the American people that the Donald Trump administration is A, it's not normal, B, it is not working for the everyday average person out there, and that there is no room to negotiate and work with a party that is so blatantly and so openly going against even what it told its own constituents what they were going to accomplish in their administration. Look no further than the unpopularity of Project 2025 from people who learned about it during Donald Trump's campaign, right? That was something that was very, very unpopular. And now we're seeing some of the effects and rollout of that plan. And nobody that learned about that plan liked it at all. That wasn't part of the 1%. And it was something that the Democrats campaigned well on, the implementation of Project 2025. But this is why we see Trump and the Republicans throwing so many different things at the wall, seeing what sticks, like going against transgender people and saying that Greenland needs to be annexed and Canada needs to become a 51st state. That's all nonsense, okay? None of that stuff is really has any effect on anyone's lives, and none of that stuff is really something that anyone in this country is asking for, but it keeps people distracted. It keeps people not paying attention to vast cuts and vast changes that are being made to how the federal government interacts with people and how people are able to petition their government. And this is extremely, extremely unpopular with the American people, what Donald Trump and Elon Musk are doing. And look no further than the unpopularity of Doge, which we'll get into a bit later here. But in terms of people's outrage with Chuck Schumer and the Democrats and them cozying up to the MAGA Republicans and their agenda, you'll see here that 22,000 people have signed a petition against Chuck Schumer. Enough is enough. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, a New York Democrat, continues to draw outrage after voting to allow a Republican CR bill to move forward on Friday, with thousands signing a Democratic petition attempting to force the leader to shut down. Charlotte Clymer, a Democratic operative, launched a change.org petition this week after Schumer signaled that he'd support moving the funding bill forward. Those who signed the petition are vowing to refuse any donations to official Democratic groups until Schumer steps down as Senate Minority Leader. We, the undersigned, completely reject Mr. Schumer's approach of appeasement in response to deeply irresponsible, dangerous, and cruel attacks by Trump and Elon Musk on the American people, the petition reads. It continues, until Senate Democrats force Mr. Schumer to step down as minority leader, we will not give a dime to any Senate Democrat, the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee, the DNC, or any organization or committee that financially supports any Senate Democrat. Enough is enough. We need new leadership to meet this grave moment, and we need it now. As of Sunday afternoon, the petition had 22,358 signatures. Now, am I of the thinking that a change.org petition is going to, that Schumer's going to go, oh, look, all these people signing this change.org petition. Let me step down. No, okay. That's not what the point of petitions are. This petition is something that, you know, it's a check of the pulse of America. And people are looking at what's happening with the Trump administration, and they are looking at the current Democratic leadership, and they're going, this is not adding up. We need better. We need a stronger response to what is happening. And I think that it's a signal that people are chomping at the bit. People are ready, willing, and able to support candidates and Democrats who do stand up to Donald Trump in a unified and consistent and coherent way, that those Democratic politicians going forward are going to be the ones having success with the majority of the American people, because the direction that Schumer is wanting to take the party is not what is needed at this time. And the American people are sending that message loud and clear to the Senate minority leadership. And all we can do is we can hope that they listen. We can hope that they wake up and smell the coffee. We can continue to call the offices of these senators that voted for the Republican bill and let them know, hey, we're not okay with this. We're not okay with allowing the Republicans to weasel out of having to hear any input whatsoever from the left when they are the ones in charge of keeping the government open, due to the fact they control all three branches of government, and they need to work with us because of the slim majorities that they have in order to implement bills that they want to pass.